This chapter contrasts two leaders, Jonathan, who acts with faith and courage, and Saul, who makes impulsive decisions that almost cost his own son's life. It highlights the tension between trusting God and fear-driven leadership. The first part of this chapter covers Jonathan attacks the Philistines alone, okay? Jonathan, without telling Saul, takes his armor bearer and decides to attack a Philistine outpost. He says, "Perhaps the Lord will act on our behalf. Nothing can hinder the Lord from saving, whether by many or by few." Okay, no, let me say that again. Perhaps the Lord will act on our behalf. Nothing can hinder the Lord from saving, whether by many or by few. This is faith in action. He doesn't wait for perfect conditions, okay? A sign. Jonathan proposes a sign. If the Philistines say, "Come up," they will know God has given them the victory. That's exactly what happens. Jonathan and his armor bearer climb up and kill about 20 men, all right? Then panic breaks out, okay? God sends terror. The Philistines panic and even the earth quakes. Confusion spreads and the Philistines start fighting each other. The second part of this chapter covers Saul's army joins in, but late. Saul sees the panic but doesn't know why. He calls the priest to consult God, but then interrupts him when he sees the battle turning. Saul and his army rush into battle and Israel wins. Even Israelites who had defeated to the Philistines rejoin the fight. The third part of the chapter covers Saul's foolish oath. Saul makes a rash vow. "Cursed be anyone who eats before evening and before I have avenged my enemies." This causes the troops to grow weak and hungry. Jonathan didn't hear the vow. He eats some honey and feels revived. Okay? Jonathan criticized the oath. "My father has made trouble for the land." Fourth part of the chapter covers the army sins and Saul tries to fix it. At sundown, starving soldiers slaughter animals and eat the meat with the blood, a sin under the law. Saul builds an altar, his first, and tries to seek God about further attack, but God doesn't answer. Saul senses something is wrong spiritually, okay? So the fifth part of the chapter covers Saul almost kills Jonathan. Saul assumes someone broke the oath and wants to kill the guilty. They cast lots and it falls on Jonathan. Saul says, "You must die." But the soldiers intervene. "Shall Jonathan die? He who brought this great deliverance?" "No." Jonathan is saved by the people. Saul's own vow almost cost him his son's life. The sixth part of the chapter covers Saul's mixed reign. Saul wins battle against various enemies, Moab, Edom, Ammon, Amalek, and he builds an army and fights bravely, but the chapter ends with a sense of tension. His leadership is inconsistent and his actions increasingly impulsive, okay? What are the key lessons from this chapter for 1 Samuel chapter 14? The first one is God honors bold faith, not perfect conditions. Jonathan trusts God, and God gave victory. Second, rash leadership harms others. Saul's foolish vow weakened the army and nearly cost his son's life. Third lesson, wisdom is as important as courage and leadership. Saul acted emotionally. Jonathan acted with faith and reason. Fourth lesson, a divided legacy is forming. Jonathan is emerging as the kind of leader Israel needs, while Saul's flaws grow more visible. So the first Samuel chapter 14 contrasts two types of leaders. Jonathan shows faith, boldness, and clarity. Saul shows rashness, ego, and confusion. Though the battle is won, Saul's poor judgment casts a shadow over his reign. And Israel begins to see it, okay? If you enjoyed this chapter, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I see you in the next one. Drop in your comments what you thought about it.